this is why they have fact checkers, supposedly. But yesterday on Fox News did something that, frankly, I haven't seen a lot. And it does demonstrate the level of the news media's arrogance when it comes to not just fact checking news sources, but literally cutting them off because they don't like what they are saying. Okay, so Kayleigh McEnany was on Fox News, and Neil Cavuto, who I generally like, just cuts her off. Right? She's doing a presser accusing Democrats of voting irregularities. And again, it's either going to be evidenced or it's not going to be evidenced. And if it's not evidenced, then people are going to say that Kayleigh McEnany wasn't telling the truth. All of that is fair. But to cut her off literally in the middle of the presser so that the American people cannot even see the information, this is where we now stand. Our betters, right, our media betters have decided what you can see and what you can hear, and that is not appropriate. Social media have been doing the same thing. Social media have been bullied into shutting down true stories. Kevin Roose, who has literally bullied Facebook into lowering engagement on conservative pages. It's insane. Facebook's entire company is now being run by some woke staffers and a bunch of idiots at the New York Times who write op-eds and send nasty tweets about, ooh, look, Shapiro's page, Dan Bongino's page, Mark Levin's page. People are paying attention to them. That's really bad. You guys should downgrade them. Kevin Roose put out a tweet suggesting it was disinformation to point out that an election result in Michigan did shift. It did shift. That's not disinformation. You just don't like the narrative. Tough. But the idea here is that social media and media are our saviors because, you see, they are wiser than you and they are wiser than I am. And therefore, they get to censor what you see and what you hear. Now, again, I am happy to debunk any claim that is false made by a Republican or Democrat. You can do that. But first, you have to listen to the claim. Here's Kayleigh McEnany being cut off by Neil Cavuto yesterday.
We want to protect the franchise of the American people. We want an honest, accurate, lawful count. We want maximum sunlight. We want maximum transparency. We want every legal vote to be counted, and we want every illegal vote to be...
I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging, the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue showing you this.
Why? I mean, seriously, couldn't you just come on right after that and say, you know, I don't think she provided any evidence of those pretty outrageous charges? Couldn't you just come on and say, I can't in good countenance continue showing you this? Who are you? I mean, seriously. Like, what are you, God? You can't see that information. You might agree with that information. You might be misled. You might be misled, right? Yeah, that would be a problem. And thus, you cannot see the information. Oh, that's great. I want my media outlet censoring what I can see and what I can hear. That is definitely what I am looking for here. And that kind of stuff from Fox News, that even the Fox News host last night, Tucker, was like, our own network is beclowning itself here. Okay, that followed hard on an outtake from Sandra Smith on Fox News, acting exasperated when other guests on Fox News said, oh, you know what? We might want to wait for the legal process to play itself out. And Sandra Smith didn't realize she was still on camera and was rather skeptical of this claim.
Whoever is decided to be the president, remember, just because CNN says, or even Fox News says that somebody's president doesn't make them president. So I think everybody wants to know that this was done properly and legally.
What is happening? Like, Trace, we've called it.
Okay, we called it, and therefore it's called, right? And once the media call it, it is the truth. That is the way that this works. I only have one problem with this, which is that I don't trust the members of our media to make objective determinations. Not only that, I certainly do not trust the members of our media to determine what I can see and what I can hear so that I can determine whether their determinations are in fact correct or not. So when I say that you cannot trust the establishment media, I really, really, really mean it. Right? So over the past few weeks, we had the specter of a CNN contributor who had denied on air that he was the anonymous author from inside the Trump administration writing crap about Trump, acknowledged that he was in fact that person, but he lied to Anderson Cooper on air about it. Did CNN even suspend him? Nope. And then today, we find out that John Meacham, the presidential historian, wrote the speech that Joe Biden gave on Saturday night. He's been writing speeches for Joe Biden apparently all along. And then he's been going on MSNBC and commenting on the speeches that he wrote. Sources told the New York Times, according to Fox News, that Meacham had been, quote, playing a larger role than was previously known behind the scenes, both writing drafts of speeches and offering edits on many of Mr. Biden's big addresses, including the one he gave at Gettysburg last month and his acceptance speech at the DNC. Biden campaign press secretary T.J. Ducklow told the Times, quote, President-elect Joe Biden wrote the speech he delivered to the American people on Saturday night, but given the significance of the speech, he consulted a number of important and diverse voices as part of his writing process, as he often does. Meacham, who publicly endorsed Biden back in March, has long been a go-to analyst for MSNBC. The Times reported that according to a network source, Meacham would no longer be a paid contributor going forward, but don't worry, he'll still be welcome as a guest. Meacham did appear on MSNBC following Biden's speech on Saturday. He was asked by Brian Williams, another news anchor who makes up stories about avoiding gunfire in helicopters over Iraq. I mean, okay, I'm sorry, the specter of Brian Williams, who's a falsifier of his own stories, asking questions to John Meacham, who wrote a speech for Biden about that same Biden speech, neither disclosing that Meacham was actually the author of the speech. That's peak media. I mean, that is peak establishment media stuff right there. Facts don't care about your feelings, and it's a fact that The Ben Shapiro Show is the largest conservative podcast in the nation. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all of our content.